What penetration grade of asphaltic materials is appropriate for sealing of PCCP joints? So A, 85 to 100, B, 120 to 150, C, 150 to 200, and D, not exceeding to 90. So the answer is A. Why it is the answer? Because TPWH Standard Specification Volume 2 specifies that penetration grade of asphaltic material is appropriate for sealing of PCCP joint is 85 to 100. So number 51. A set of 3 beam samples representing a particular section of a concrete pavement filled to meet the flexural strength requirement. As a material engineer, what would you recommend? So, nakukuluan man niyo, di ba, sa choices. So, the answer of that is C. Conduct core test for strength determination on section represented by the filled samples to determine the actual strength of the placed concrete. So, kay nano ito ng answer? Because when a set of 3 beam samples representing a particular section of a concrete pavement filled to meet the flexural strength requirement, it is the right of the contractor take it further by conducting of core test. So, let's proceed to the number 52. Where do we take additional cores when the measurement of any core taken from the pavement is deficient in thickness by more than 25 mm? So, di ba, nagkukuluan ng maniyo sa choices liwat. So, dari ko na siya babasahon kay medyo halaba. So, the answer of that is D. At no less than 5 meter intervals parallel to the center line in each direction from the affected location. So, kay nano ito ng answer niya? Because at no less than 5 meters intervals parallel to the center line in each direction from the affected location. So, maproceed na kayo sa number 53. The asphalt material that is usually classified by its penetration grade is A. Joint filler, and so on. So, kulawin na lautro niyo sa choices. So, ang answers to niya is so, let's proceed to the number 54. The mortar proportion of stone masonry shall be A. 1 part cement, 2 parts sand. B. 1 part cement, 3 parts sand. And letter C, 1 part cement and 4 parts sand. And D. 1 part cement and 1 part sand. So, the answer of that is A. 1 part cement and 2 parts sand. Because unstate sa DPWH Standard Specification Volume 2 kinsugad nila nga ang mortar for the masonry shall be composed of 1 part of Portland cement and 2 parts of fine aggregate by volume. Number 55. How many pipes should be tested for strength, abortion, and dimension in 300 pieces of reinforced culvert pipe? So, A, 1, B, 2, number sa C, 4, and D, 6. So, the answer is D, 6. Kay nano 6 pieces. So, according to the minimum testing requirement for the item 500 pipe sa culverts, for every 50 pieces of pipes, test for strength, abortion, and dimension shall be done. So, an alternative to this test ko is one set consisting of 3 concrete cylinder samples for not more than 25 pipes cast in the field. So, number 26, the moisture density curve is different for each soil. Which of the following statements is or are true? So, nagkakuluan man natin niyo sa choices. So, look at the choices na lang. So, an answer niya is all of the above. Number 57. Embankment materials are classified as unsuitable materials if A. The natural moisture content is 50%. B. The liquid limit is 40%. C. The plasticity index is 60. The natural density is 1,200 kilogram per cubic meter. So, an answer niya is C. The plasticity index is 60. So, kay na ito ng answer niya. So, according that sa DPWH Standard Specification Volume 2, the Blue Book, which is the Blue Book subsection of 104.2 Materials Requirement of Embankment, sa paragraph number 2, state na unsustainable materials are than sustainable materials such as. So, maghihatag na sa iyong example. Materials containing detrimental quantities of organic materials such as a grass, roots, and sewerage. So, number 58. So, the test which combines the load deformation test performed in the laboratory with an empirical design chart to determine the thickness pavement based on other layers is known as A. Plate bearing test. B. Moisture density determination. C. California bearing ratio. D. Standard penetration test. So the answer of that is C. California bearing ratio. Because the test which combines a load deformation test performed in the laboratory with an empirical design chart to determine the thickness pavement based on and the other layers is known as the California bearing ratio. So, kay nano ito na answer niya. Number 59. If one of the measurements of a core specimen taken from the concrete pavement is 28.7 centimeter, what is the corrected measurement to be used in calculating the average thickness of the pavement if the design thickness is 28.0 centimeter? So, ada man ang choices, diba? So, ang answer niya is C, 28.5 centimeter. So, kaya na nito na kanya answer. Because if one of the measurements of a core specimen taken from the concrete pavement is 28.7 centimeter, the corrected measurement to be used in calculating the average thickness of the pavement if the design thickness is 28.0 centimeter is 28.50 centimeter. In the other words, kung the measured 28.70 centimeter pavement will be treated as 28.50 centimeter since the design thickness is 28 centimeter only. So, number 60 is, which of the following bituminous materials is the best recommended for sealing weak and blend joints? So, ada man diba ang choices niya? So, ang kanyang answer is D, joint filler asphalt. Joint filler asphalt. Kaya na ito ng kanyang answer. Because to seal a joint adequately means must be provided to exclude water and foreign matter from the top and bottom and also the ends. So consideration of providing the best possible type of joint filler materials for expansion joint needs stimulation. So since the primary purpose of the joint filler is to prevent infiltration of foreign matter when the slabs are contracted and support the joint sealing compound at the top. So the material should have the greatest possible resilience combined with the property of minimum extrusion under the cyclic pressure. So the next is number 61. The test to indicate the temperature wherein asphalt can be heated without catching fire is called A. Loss on heating, B. Spot test, C. Flash point, and D is penetration test. So one answer sa niya is C. Flash point. Kay nano ko ito na answer niya. Because the flash point is one measure of the tendency of the test specimen to form a flammable mixture with air under the controlled laboratory condition. It is only one of the number of properties that should be considered in assessing the overall flammability hazard of a material. So number 62. It is a single test procedure to determine the suitability of an asphaltic concrete mix. So ada man ang choices. So an answer sa niya is C. Marshall stability. So kay nito ng answer is because we can identify the suitability of a material on the first phase of designing it. In asphalt mix design, we are using Marshall stability test to simulate the actual load on the road. Next is number 63. The moisture density curve is different for each soil. Which of the following statement is or true? So, may upat na choices. Kulawin na niyo. So, an answer sa number 63 is D. All of the above. Kulawin na niyo an number 56. 56 kay parang related ta siya. Kay an answer niya is all of the above. So number 64. What is the frequency of a core sampling required on a completed bituminous pavement? So look the choices. So an answer niya is A. Every 100 linear meters per lane. Kaya nito ng kanya answer. So according na sa book san volume to san DPWH standard specification volume nga ankin ko no, if no core samples were taken during the day's operation, core samples shall be taken from the completed pavement for every 100 lm per lane. So the contractor shall supply and furnish new material to backfill boreholes left by the samples taken. So number 65. Quality control testing. Number 65. Quality control testing is a DPWH project is the responsibility of the A. DPWH, B. Contractor, C. DPWH and contractor, D. Construction supervision consultant. So nanasunod ang answer. So kanya answer is B. Contractor. Because quality control testing is a DPWH project is the responsibility of the contractor's materials engineer. So siyaan kanya itong responsibility. So the next is number 66. What chemical admixtures need to produce a concrete mix with improved slump without additional water? So O adi man ang choices, kulawin na lang niyo. So, ang answer sa number 66 is C. Water reducing admixture. So, number 67. Samples of aggregate base course materials when tested for quality pass the requirements except grading. What will you recommend as a material engineer? A. Recheck the material. B. Replace the material. C. Accept the material at an adjusted price. D. Reprocess the material by blending. So the answer is reprocess the material by blending. So, D ang kanya answer. So, ma-proceed naman kit sa number 69. What is the minimum soaked CBR value required for the base materials obtained at the maximum dry density determined by AH2 T180 method D? So, wala man ang choices, may kit upat nga choices. Bali, an A, 25, an B, 50, and C, 75. So, ang answer sa number 69 is 80. Kinano, ito na answer niya. Because according na natsan DPWH Standard Specification Volume 2, so, ano daw, sa kanda ko no requirements in states na, states ko no nga, that for base course material, the material passing the 19 millimeter, which is the 3/4 inch, sieve shall have a soak CBR value of not less than 80%. So as determined by ASH2 193, the CBR value shall be obtained at the maximum dry density, which are the MDD, as determined by ASH2 T180. So ang kanya method is D. So bali ito na kanya answer. So the next one is an admixtures that tends to reduce incidence of thermal cracking and to maintain concrete workability during large pours or long ready-mix holes is an A. Water reducing admixture, B. Retarding water reducing admixture, C. Air entraining admixture, D. Accelerating admixture. So the answer is letter B. Retarding water reducing admixture. So, number 71, which of the following is the frequency of sampling of the concrete beams required by DPWH specification? So, dari ko nababasaw ng choices niya kay Halabat. So, ang kanya answer is C, at least one set of 3 concrete beams every 75 cubic meter of fraction thereof. So, number 72. What is the function of emulsifiers in liquid asphalt? Emulsifiers in liquid asphalt. A. To increase mixing ability with aggregates. B. To retain water in asphalt for longer periods. C. To prevent asphalt from hardening. D. To enable asphalt and water to mix. So, one answer niya is D. To enable asphalt and water to mix. Why it is the answer? Because based from the given choices, almost all are considered correct, but an engineer should know and analyze that are molecules with one water-loving and one oil-loving, or the hydrophobic end. They make it possible for water and oil to make finely dispersed in each other, creating a stable, homogeneous, smooth emulsion. Cut-back asphalt or emulsified asphalt is either A or B. Because a prime coat is an application of a low viscosity asphalt on a granular base in preparation for an initial layer or surface coarse layer of asphalt. So number 74. The index of retailed strength of the compacted bituminous mixtures is the ratio of the compressive strength of immersed and dry bituminous mixture. What is the minimum index of retained strength required for bituminous mixture? A. 40%, B. 50%, C. 60%, D. 70%. So, ang answer niya is D. 70%. Number 75. The main problem associated with the wrong practice of conveying concrete is called honeycomb, B. Lightance, C. Segregation, D. Cracking. So, ang answer niya is segregation. Kaya ang honeycombs ko are hollow spaces and cavities left in concrete mass on surface or inside the concrete mass where concrete could not reach. And honeycombs kuno, which are on sides, are visible to naked eyes and can be detected easily as some forms are removed. Honeycombs, which are inside mass of concrete, can only be detected by advanced technique like ultrasonic testing or etc. So number 76. The smaller the value of the fineness modulus, the A. The coarser the material, B. The finer the material, C. The lighter the material, and D. The drier the material. So the answer of that is B. The finer the material. Finer the material. So, number 77. The specification calls for a 1:4 concrete mix and a 1 bagger mixture. Which of the following amount of the water is most likely required for the mix? So, ada man ang mga choices. May 20, may 5, may 10, 35 liters. So, ang answers to niya is A, 20 liters. Because in designing a concrete mix, we often use ECI 211, which requires many tests of aggregates, but every few on cement. That is because it is assuming that we are using the highest quality of cement, while in reality, instead of using Portland cement type 1, we are using the cheaper cement price in the market, which is the type 1P. For this case, the use of 1:4 mix not only fastening the design timetable but also offer the relative strength we need. So number 78, compaction trials on embankment and base or subas courses are carried out to determine the subis courses are carried out to determine the, look at the choices na lang. The four choices. So, the answer sa niya is D, all of the above. So, number 79. The optimum moisture content of soil is determined during A, laboratory compaction, B, compaction of a trial section, C, field compaction test, D, any of the above. So, the answer is A, laboratory compaction. So number 80, the test pitting conducted on a prepared paste showed that the thickness of item 201 aggregate base course was deficient by 5 centimeter. As a materials engineers, what will you recommend? So A, reject the prepared section, B, rework the section, C. Accept the section at an adjusted price due to the thickness deficiency. D. Provide sand caution to attend the thickness requirement. So the answer of this is B. Rework the section. Number 81. When taking 3 or more samples of aggregates to be combined for one material sample, A. The small samples must be packed in separate sample bags. B. The small samples must be obtained from different lots. C. The small samples should of approximately equal size. D. None of the above. So the answer of that is D. None of the above. Because there are many types of sampling procedures. It may be for the purpose of taking samples for laboratory testing, job control, or for acceptance. So the samples may be from a flowing aggregate streams or bins, conveyor belt, or stockpile, or transportation units, and for roadway bus courses. So number 8. A concrete core specimen for thickness determination shall have a diameter of at least A. 75 millimeter, B. 100 millimeter, C. 125 millimeter, D. 150 millimeter. So ang answers to niya is D. 100 millimeter. Number 83. Two concrete cylinder A and B are tested in compression, and if cylinder A is completely saturated while B is dry, which of the following is true? So, di ba, adi man ang choices niya. May upat niya choices. So, one answer to niya is C. Cylinder will yield a higher compressive strength. So number 84. What is the yield point and tensile strength in MPa of an 16 millimeter diameter megapascal millimeter diameter deformed steel bar with the following data? So ang kanya nominal mass is mayon 1.552 kilogram meter cube. Ang nominal area man mayon 199 square meter. Ang yield point load man mayon 15,900 lbs nga given. Ang tensile load man niya is mayon 20,800 lbs. So adi man may upat ang choices. So ang answers to niya is B. 355 megapascal and 465 megapascal. So ang answer niya is 355 megapascal and 465 megapascal. So number 85. A load-bearing concrete hollow block sample was tested to compression with the following test data. So may mga di mga given man ang width, and length, and height, and ultimate load niya. So what is the compressive strength of the sample? And adi ang kanya choices. Then, kung paano nakuha ang kanya answer, ang compressive ko niya of the sample, exisend ko nalaan kanya kung paano ito nakuha. So, ang kanyang answer is 3.9 megapascal. So, later on, or ipapasa ko nala sa iyo, kung kay nano ito na kanya naging answer. Kung ano biyan answer niya. So, number 86, compute the percent variation in mass of 19 millimeter diameter deformed steel bar with the following laboratory test data. So adi taman siya, di ba? May given ang kanya length of specimen, may given ang kanya mass of specimen, may kaya nominal mass and nominal area niya. So mauta, i-send ko ta sa iyo or i-ano ko nala sa iyo, i-explain ko nala sa iyo through personalaan answer niya. Kay Nano, ang kanya answer is B. Kay Nano, naging 4% ang kanya answer. So, number 87. A sample of a reinforced concrete pipe has the following test data dimension. Adita, may ta siya mga given. Given ta ang kanya actual internal diameter, thickness of wool, and length. So, ang kanya question is, what is the load to produce 0.3 mm crack at the ultimate load? So, i-explain ko ta sa iyo through personal ko ang kanya answer ko kanya answer is 80 Newton millimeter and 87 Newton. Kung ano ini ang kanya naging answer. Kung ano ang ang kanya naging answer. So, number 88. If 330 gallons of paints for use in the painting of a 3-story school building are delivered in a sub-project, 160 gallons are latex paint and 140 gallons are flat wall enamel paint. How many gallons will you submit for quality test for each type of paint? So, adi man kanya choice. Ang answer niya is 2 gallons each. In the construction of a 2-story, 6-classroom school building, an estimated 18,800 units of 4 inches CHB will be used. How many quality tests are you going to perform? So, ada man ang kanyang choices. So, ang kanyang answer is C. Number 90. An estimated 15,200 units of corrugated sheets will be used in the construction of a resettlement housing project. How many quality tests are you going to prepare? So, an answer sa niya is D, none of the above. Number 91. What is the required length of pipe specimen in determination of zinc coating of galvanized pipe? An answer niya is B, 4 inches. Kay galvanized conical pipe is a straight, tubular product of a uniform circular cross-section primarily used for the transport of fluids. So the specification is based on DPW standards specification for paint. So apin ko made from emulsions of polymer in water as blender with suitable pigment which is substantially free from gloss. What is the phosphorus content requirement for rebars? So the answer of that is B, 0.06 max. What test is conducted to clarify reinforcing steel bars into the grid? A, tensile strength, B, yield strength, C, elongation, D, all of the above. So, ang answer niya is B, yield strength. Yield strength ang kanyang answer. Number 94. Which rescheduled number of GI pipe will give a high volt thickness? Para man diba ang choices? Schedule 80, schedule 40, ang answer niya is A, schedule 80. Kay, for grade 40 ko, the wall thickness is 0.091 in 2.31 millimeter. And for grade 80, wall thickness is 0.126 in 3.20 millimeter. So therefore, grade A 95. Which of the following gauge number of GI sheets will give the lower thickness? So, ada man ang choices. So, the answer niya is gauge number 32. Number 32. So, i-explain ko sa iyo kung because though common knowledge, few people know why the thickness of steel diminishes as the gauge increases. So the explanation comes from the early development of a steel gauge measurement system in which the control measurement was based on 1 inches. So number 96, this is the type of pen intended for concrete and other masonry surface. So ada man ang kanya choices ano. So ang answer niya is latex paint. So number 97. Blended hydraulic cement type 1P requires a compressive strength requirement of, ada man ang kanya choices. So ang answer niya is a 25 megapascal minute. Number 98. In Portland cement, the amount of water in the preparation of mortar cubes can be determined using water-cement ratio. So, the answer niya is A, 0.485. Number 99. Cement stiffening without strength development is called flash set. Because though we barely know the chemical characteristic of cement, however, it is important that we have the basic knowledge of the chemical reaction of cement to the other materials which will be incorporated in our concrete mix. So one of these is the setting time. It is the change of common paste from plastic to stiff solid state, whereas hardening is the gaining of strength with hydration. So the sitting and hardening stop as soon as the concrete becomes dry. So last number is for RCPC, the laying length used in calculating the strength values of the barrel pipe is the A, outside length, B, inside length, C, standard length, D, none of the above. So the answer of that is C, standard length. Because laying length, also called fitting gain, is the distance from the bottom of the socket to the center line of the intersecting pipe. So lay length is defined as the distance required to complete one revolution of the standard around the diameter of the conductor. So when a conductor has more than one layer, it is usually refers to the length of the outer layer. So this is confusing because we also mentioned outer layer as the lay length. So however, the engineer shall note that the laying length of the class 2 reinforced concrete pipe according to the ASH2. So that's all. Thank you.